Here we go. It is the final Village Vice before game day. Auburn and Missouri in Columbia. Zach and I are going to tell you about how this game should play out. He's Zach Blackerby. I'm Brad Law. And it just feels like yesterday, like the bye week went by quickly, I think. And now this game week has gone by relatively quickly. I'm ready to see the action Saturday.
Yeah, the season's gone by quick. It feels like it's been weeks since Auburn's last played football. That Georgia loss still kind of looming around. I'm excited to see Auburn take the field against the other Tigers in the SEC, and they've got a shot. They've got a shot in this one, and they need it. This would be huge for the season.
Yeah, let's start there. What would this mean, in your opinion, for Auburn's season? Because, I've been the one saying for a month, let's just go a game at a time and not do these 2 and 6 game type of 5,000-foot views. But I guess I'll go back on that for this question.
Yeah, I think it does a lot. I think it gives the program and the fan base hope. I think it gives you proof that what you're doing is working and that you have been close. It wasn't just kind of messaging out there. Like, it actually adds some context and legitimizes it. I think it also gives you an opportunity to, I think as far as like the pecking order in the SEC, as far as tiers go, Auburn's probably trying to knock off Missouri. Like right now, Auburn's trying to get to where Missouri is. And if you do that, Missouri entered the season with so much excitement and hope and anticipation. They had what it took to make a college football playoff run. If they lose to Auburn on Saturday, that's done. And so that's kind of a feather in Auburn's cap of saying, hey, we ruined your situation. Sorry. And we did it at your house too. So, I think there's a lot of things that you can pull from and say, hey, this obviously would be huge.
How close are these two programs? Because what you said there, I think, was interesting, and I want to go back to it, trying to sort of get to the tier or get to where Missouri is. They're in year, what is this, 5? Yeah, this is year 5 for Eli at Mizzou.
Yeah,
and they were 17 and 19 his first 3 years. They went 5-5. 6-7, 6-7. Both the seventh loss came in the bowl game, so throw that right out. They were 6-6. His second and third years. So it wasn't until year 4 that they turned a corner, and the big win over Kansas State was kind of that moment where they turned the corner. How close are these two programs?
I think if Auburn was where Missouri was next year, I think the average Auburn fan would be thrilled. I don't think they like to say that because I think, Auburn should be better than Missouri, but they're not right now, and they haven't been over the last few seasons.
Should is a dangerous word. Let me just throw that in there right now. Should is an absolute. I'm not jumping on you specifically personally for saying it. I'm saying in life, the more you can stay away from should, the better off you'll be. Things either are or they are not.
I guess, but you also can have proper expectations tied to resources of what you have access to. And the fact of the matter is, if you're a head coach at Auburn, you're running this program, you have access to more than the person who's running the ship at Missouri. You have access to more NIL. You have access to larger boosters. You have access to geographically, there's just better talent around you. I don't disagree. Should is a dangerous word, but I feel confident saying like Auburn should be in a better spot than Missouri when it comes to college football. And right now they haven't been.
Yeah, as long as you go the cap. All right, like right now, year 2 of Hugh Freeze's time, should Auburn be in a better place than year 5 of Eli's time at Missouri? I don't know. Again, that the should argument is a dangerous one. They're not right now, but they're close enough that this game is within reach. You can go, and you're not going to be shocked if Auburn goes and pulls off the upset Saturday.
I think some people would be shocked. I wouldn't be. I don't think you would be, but I think that would be a big narrative nationally. And my guess is, and I hope we get to have this conversation, Brad, I really do. But if Auburn wins this game, the narrative isn't about Auburn nationally. Yeah. The narrative is about, oh, Missouri stinks. That would be the narrative. And so
you're right.
That's a little tricky. Auburn doesn't need to care about what the narrative and the storyline is going to be. No. Because this obviously puts you in a situation where a bowl game is still on the table. Like but if you can beat Missouri on the road, you can beat Kentucky on the road.
Yeah.
You can beat Vandy at home. You can beat ULM, and that gets you there. With the chance to beat A&M at home, which they're picking up steam. That's going to be a fascinating thing. Wants to see where they are when they come to Jordan-Hare. And then obviously the Iron Bowl. So we'll see. But yeah, this one's big. For Auburn is, both teams are doing it to survive for what their goals were to go into the season. And they're at different points. Missouri's fighting to be relevant, to be one of those top 12 teams that make it into postseason play. And Auburn's trying to hang on to go to a bowl game for another year.
And continue to grow and develop. And all these freshmen, get them a little more practice time. Yep. And you know what I think is even more important than that is like internally to develop the confidence and the habits that create winning opportunity. Like to go do this on the road would mean, all right, internally we know we can do it. Like exactly what you said. And if we can do this, then we can fill in the blank.
Yeah, there's no way this locker room is just oozing with confidence right now. I mean, how can it? You've lost games that you have outplayed the opposing team, with the exception of one play. And then you've also just lined up and gotten beat by a Cal team that I don't think a ton of people really respect. And Arkansas, maybe they're a little better than we thought at the time, but still, like this is a game that Auburn thought they could win, and they didn't. And they weren't very good at home. You had this awesome homestand to start the year, and you failed in all ways you can measure it. Like they fell short of what their goals were, regardless of where. If you thought they'd go undefeated, if you thought they'd just lose one, nobody thought that they would lose 3 games in that homestand. And so, getting a win, I think, would do a lot emotionally. Yeah. I think it would save the season, because on the other side of this, if they lose, and depending on how they lose, maybe, but I think you're going to have some people check out, or at least you have the fear or concern of some people checking out if Auburn's just chilling at 2-5 and they've got to go on the road again to play a physical Kentucky team. That's just a tough spot to be in, Brad. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So hopefully Auburn wins the game on Saturday.
Yeah, it becomes a big swing game for a lot of reasons. You'd like for that not to be a concern, but like reality is that it probably is for some. So, all right. You know what's a reality for everybody? For all.
Tell me.
MyBookie.ag. Ooh. They present every episode of Village Vice, and they will take you, if you never tried, you've heard us talk about it. Yeah. And you're like, okay, fine. I'm going to try it. Yeah. MyBookie.ag. Use that promo code there at the bottom of the screen. Next round altogether. Mm-hmm. They'll double that initial deposit. Ooh. What a bonus that could be for you this weekend. A lot of attractive games, a lot of fun plays this weekend. Check out MyBookie.ag. You want to get in a little postseason baseball play. If you're following that closely, you can do that as well. MyBookie.ag. Get your football season in high gear with MyBookie.
No question. As far as things to watch for, is there a player on this team where you're saying, okay, it's time. This is it. This is an important game. You're on the road. The pressure's mounting. Who are you looking for specifically? Give me an offensive player and a defensive player.
Offensively, I'm going to say Percy Lewis.
Interesting.
I'm going to say Percy Lewis. I think Auburn needs to stay on the field. Missouri gives up 13 first downs a game. And if you take out the 20 that Texas A&M got, they give up fewer than 12 a game. They just don't let you stay on the field, which means they're good on first down defensively. And so Auburn's got to win first down. I think it's going to need to happen with the left side of the offensive line a good bit. And so I think, and Percy has to have been challenged after the Georgia game. He didn't have a good game against Georgia, flat out. We all know it. So, you give him a week, he's challenged. Now it's time. And if they're committing to the run more, he's going to be a big factor in that.
Gosh, I hope they do. Commit to the run more. You brought in these guys that are touted run blockers like Percy Lewis. You'd love to see him be used in that way. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. That's a good one. Give me a defensive one.
Boy, I could go a lot of places in this game. I'm going to go Kayin Lee.
Okay.
I know that's not like a diamond in the rough kind of pick, but
doesn't have to be. That's okay.
this is a balanced offense. It's a veteran quarterback. And they have two just really, really good receivers in Theo Weiss, the Oklahoma transfer, and then, of course, Luther Burden. And it feels like Burden's been there for 6-7 years. But they are equally dangerous, and they've spread out their carries evenly. So I think if Kayin Lee is Auburn's top cornerback, then this is a game where he, I mean,
you need Kayin Lee to play like the top corner that he needs to be. And he hasn't done that over the last 2 weeks or so. I think some people are a little overcritical on what he did early on in the year. I think he's been fine. I think he's been fine, with the exception the last 2 weeks he has not been fine. And so the emergence of Jay Crawford is exciting. But Kayin Lee and Jay Crawford, if those are your starting two corners, which it looks like they will be, we'll see how they use Keontae Scott moving forward. But I'm with you. I think Kayin Lee is a great one. Also, when you add the context of Jay Crawford, these two young guys, Kayin Lee, a true sophomore, Jay Crawford, a true freshman, they're going to have their hands full. Now, Burton, my understanding is Burton plays a lot of slot. And so, that's not necessarily going to fall on Lee or Crawford. But you mentioned Weiss. They're going to have to cover guys like him. Missouri, like you said, spreads the football around. These guys are going to have their hands full, for sure.
Yeah, Weiss actually has more yards than Burden does. He's more of a downfield kind of guy. So,
yep.
What about you? Do you have a different? Would you pick a different player offensively and defensively?
Sure, I can.
Okay.
I can certainly. Jarquez Hunter is the one on offense where it's like, let's quit screwing around and let's give Jarquez Hunter the football. Make a game plan around him, not around the quarterback in the passing game. If Jarquez Hunter gets his touches, it will provide opportunities for the receivers and for the passing game. So, and then you talk about staying on the field. You could do that by running the football. So I'll say Jarquez Hunter, which is the most boring pick ever. But sometimes, we don't need to overthink this. We don't need to overthink this. Run the freaking football. On defense,
run the dang ball, Bert.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. On defense, I'll go. Let's see. You went DBs, which you went after my corners, which is totally fine.
Well, yeah, and it's
important. It's important. I'm gonna go. I'll go with Keldrick Falk.
Yeah.
For both on the field and off the field reasons. Like Hugh Freeze on Monday kind of called out some of his veteran leadership. It was like, okay, if nobody's going to be that guy to kind of be the example, go Keldrick. You do it. You don't have to wait your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Because the team is going to listen to anything that you say based off of the people that I've talked to. So Keldrick Falk, as far as the leader off the field and then on the field, there's been times in pretty much every game where it's like, that's him. That's the future NFL player. And can he do that against Missouri's offensive line on Saturday? Yes. Yes, I think he can.
The reason I went with the defensive back, Zach, was because I couldn't pick out just one defensive lineman. When you look at the Texas A&M game, I mean, it wasn't just Le'Veon Moss running over their defense. Now, it was that. That was a part of it.
That happened, for sure.
But on the other side of the ball, Missouri couldn't get anything going offensively because A&M's defensive line pushed around their offensive line, pushed them around consistently.
Yeah.
They completely established the line of scrimmage. So can Auburn's defensive line do anything close to that, to the Missouri offensive line? They have three power conference transfers and then two guys that have been 2-year-plus starters on the offensive line.
Yeah. I think Auburn's defensive line can.
Yeah.
I think they can. Much like Auburn could have beaten Cal and could have beaten Arkansas and could have beaten Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It could have handed off to Jarquez Hunter on 4th and 1.
You can start a food drive with all the cans that have been around.
I would love for it to go to a good cause.
Yeah.
I would love for all these cans. But yeah, they can. The defensive line can do that. To me, I think this defense is going to keep Auburn in the game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if the offense travels and if they can take care of the football. Let's jump into a 6-pack. All these cans. Let's jump into the 6-pack. The 6-pack. That's next here on Village Vice.
Brilliant. You're so good at this.
Sometimes it just falls right there, and we say, "Okay, I can catch that." I can catch that. Hey, today's show is brought to you by our friends at Roback, roback.com, RHOBACK.com. They have so many different things to look at. Collared shirts, pullovers, the quarter zips, the hoodies. They've got shorts and pants and anything you can ask for that you're like, I want to be comfortable and I want to look sharp. Roback has you covered. They've also got specific Auburn gear for part of their game day collection. Go check it out. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I promise. RHOBACK.com. You can get $20 off. Use promo code VICE20 for 20% off your order. We do not want you to pay full price. Roback.com. Use promo code VICE20. Six-pack time. Yes?
Think about that. If you buy $100 worth of stuff at Roback, you will get $20 off. Wow. Just like that.
Wow.
Just because you watch Village Vice.
That math that you just did. Electric.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, Zach, you got an interesting six-pack of games this weekend.
Okay.
And it starts tonight with a couple of teams that have lost to SEC schools. You know, Virginia Tech and Boston College are playing on Thursday night college. I'm kidding. I'm not starting with that game. I was waiting to get your reaction because you just crapped all over my list last week.
I rewatched our show last Thursday, and I did too much, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had that mental conversation with myself earlier today where I'm like, I'm going to respect Brad's six-pack regardless of what it is.
Regardless of what it. All right. Well, we're going to start, and I know, and I already know. See, I say that to already start because I know what you're going to do with this first one that we're going to pick.
Okay.
It's the only non-SEC game on the list.
Okay.
And it is, where are they? Come on, show up. There it is. Okay, top 25 battle in the Big Ten, Zach.
Oh, yeah. Of course we're leading with this. Go ahead.
I knew you were going there. Tell me what other game outside the SEC would have been better to pick than this one.
No, this is a great one, Brad.
I ain't picking 25th ranked Navy against Charlotte. I ain't picking 23rd ranked Army against East Carolina.
Sure.
So Michigan at Illinois. Michigan 4-2, Illinois 5-1. Michigan, a 3.5-point favorite on the road.
I'll take Michigan, but man, it'd be really great if Illinois won. I assume you're taking Michigan as well.
Well, do you know who Illinois' starting quarterback is?
No.
You don't know?
No.
Luke Altmaier. Remember him from Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's in Illinois. And yeah, of course I'm taking Michigan to win. I don't know that I believe it, but I have to stay on brand. So
can I tell you what I think the most interesting non-SEC game is?
Yeah, please. Miami at Louisville?
Yes.
Really?
Miami at Louisville. Yes,
Okay.
That was it. That was it. Because something really interesting happens if Louisville wins this game.
Okay.
And I've been kind of hard on Louisville, and like they were ranked longer than I think they should have been, and they're just outside the top 25 now. But their losses are they're respectable losses.
Mm-hmm.
But if they beat Miami, which Miami has struggled with like the good teams that they've played so far.
You're right.
I'm not lumping Florida into that. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see, like, okay, if Miami loses that game and Clemson slips up somewhere.
Yeah.
Or let's say Clemson takes care of business. I don't think Clemson and Louisville play, so they play in the ACC championship. If Louisville wins this game, I think it strengthens the case of the ACC being a 3-bid league when it's all said and done.
Does that count? Are you counting Notre Dame in that?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
That's interesting. All right. Miami's schedule, by the way, after Louisville, Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse.
Gross. Syracuse is decent now.
Fine.
So that's fun.
Yeah. I think they beat Louisville. So, All right. So there you go. I mean, yeah, that's not a bad game. The rest of our
but we picked Michigan, so that's fine. We picked the Michigan game instead. So that's good. I'm glad that we picked the game with no playoff implications. I'm glad that you did that.
I think I could have picked 6 games from the SEC this week, but for some reason I overlooked one of them. So sorry about that.
No, it's all about Michigan. This is
How
about
shut up. Alabama and Tennessee in Knoxville. Alabama, to my surprise, Alabama's a 3-point favorite on the road in Knoxville.
I just don't think people are buying that they can that they're not going to bounce back at some point. And I'm kind of there too. Like I'm taking Alabama in this, and I'm taking them minus the points.
They're also really down on Tennessee for losing to Arkansas at home, and then nearly losing to Florida. Or I guess that was on the road in Fayetteville, but losing to
the Tennessee we saw against NC State and the Tennessee we've seen the last 2 weeks or last 2 games, it's just not doesn't look like the same team. I thought Nico was kind of getting ready to do like a dark horse Heisman run type thing. Like I was really high on him, and they just haven't put it all together.
No, they haven't. I still like their offense against the Alabama defense, though, and at home, I think it's too much. Tennessee.
Do it.
I'm going Tennessee.
Sweet, I love that.
Going Tennessee.
Hope you're right.
LSU is at Arkansas. LSU a 1.5-point favorite. LSU big statement win over Ole Miss. How do they handle it? You know, you got the
Vegas is begging you.
Yeah,
they are begging you. MyBookie wants you to bet LSU so bad.
Yeah. But Arkansas,
and I'm going to do it. I'm taking LSU.
You're taking LSU?
I am. But man, this one's tricky. Another thing to think about. So A&M plays Arkansas, or LSU plays Arkansas, and then they play A&M. And I think A&M's going to win that game, and A&M's going to thrust up to be like a top 6, 7, 8 team in the country, and the hype is going to be crazy. So just kind of everybody emotionally get ready for that.
All right, so you're going LSU in the game?
Yep.
That's another one where I really want to pull the trigger for Arkansas because I like their running game.
Are you picking Michigan again?
That's good.
Thanks,
that's so good.
Sweet.
I like LSU too. I like their passing game. I like Nussmeier as a quarterback. He's like quietly been one of the top 2-3 quarterbacks in the league this year.
Yeah, totally.
And nobody's really talking about it. Georgia, Texas.
We are.
Now, how about Georgia, Texas? Texas, a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas. I mean, until Texas loses, I'm not picking against them.
Same.
This roster seems special. To me.
And they're at home and at night. I like that. Steve Sarkisian's record at Texas, by the way. What was he doing? What did he do his first couple of years? I'm pulling it up right now. Should have had it ready to go. He was 5
I don't think they were great.
No, he's 5-7, then 8-5. So 13-11 because they had a bowl loss in his second year.
Okay.
So 13-11.
Are you counting the bowl loss, or you're not counting the bowl loss?
Not counting the bowl loss.
Okay.
13-12 if you count the bowl loss.
Okay.
I don't know how many that is. I don't know if that's 5 or 4. So I'm going to go ahead and give you another one. Kentucky at Florida because Auburn plays Kentucky next week. Kentucky is a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Loser of this game is 3-4. Kentucky's 1-3 in the league. Florida's 1-2. What you think?
I think Florida wins.
Isn't that interesting? I kind of do too. I thought I was going to be the contrarian.
Well, that's kind of the thing that we talked about. I think we talked about it here. Like, I don't think Florida's inherently bad. Their schedule just is brutal.
No, but it is. And what you heard all off season, man. I mean, from the end of the regular season last year, all the way through their first game this year was Napier's out. They're bad. They could go 2-10. They're just awful, 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 awful. And this narrative just took over everything like a dust cloud. They're not that terrible. And I think they might be more physical than Kentucky.
Is that all the games?
Well, Auburn and Missouri.
Okay, but may I ask you a question before this?
Yeah.
Favorite Auburn-Missouri rivalry memory?
Oh, it's Missouri fumbling going into the end zone.
Is it that over?
No.
Well, I think some people would say that, though. Some people would say that.
Who?
I've asked my friends this week, and they've said that. And I'm like, okay. I don't know if it's because like the 2013 SEC championship game was so long ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anybody who says that also thinks like Halloween Resurrection or Halloween H2O are the best in the Halloween movie franchise.
Or maybe they think Halloween's an actual holiday.
Well, it is.
No, if I've got to work on it, it's not a holiday.
Why? Oh, gosh. Why are you throwing this takeout 24 minutes into the episode, Zach? We don't have time for this.
All right, maybe we do a bonus show tomorrow.
Okay.
You're speechless.
All right, I gotta focus. I gotta focus. Halloween's a top 3 holiday on the calendar.
What?
It's a top 3.
No.
It's
No.
It's top 3, man.
You have to work on Halloween.
So what? You get to play after
I'm
you
done.
work. No, you're not.
I'm done.
No, you're not.
I'm done.
Put your headphones back on.
I'm done. I can't even hear you.
Put
Missouri wins like 34 to 27.
No way.
It's all you.
He's gone. That's phenomenal. All right. Auburn gets it done. Interesting note, an interesting couple of notes here. Missouri is 3-7 over the last 3 years in 11 o'clock games, 3-7. They haven't, though, lost to an unranked team since 2022. That's a big streak. Oh, he came back. Look at that. I was fine, by the way. I was carrying it. I was going.
Send us home, brother.
Okay. Auburn wins the game. They get a much-needed win on the road. Thanks for watching. Follow everything at thebarnauburn.com. Thanks for watching and subscribing. And remember, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.